Hi everybody. I'm in the office now. The kids are at home on holidays, school vacation, so it's a racket there. Here we are. Read Zakaria, post-American world, picking up on page 69 with westernization. So this will take us through to the end of this chapter, which is just another 15, 17 pages or so. Uh, there's two sections to start with, westernization and modernization. And here the thing to understand is he's comparing two different phenomena. One, westernization, the other, modernization. Westernization is one set of things, modernization is another set of things. I won't go into what those are, you can get them from the reading. But his question is, to become modern, do you have to become Western? And he doesn't give us a simple answer to that. He thinks it's actually a fairly complicated answer. But importantly, westernization is about the rise of a civil society. A civil society is a society that governs itself but doesn't necessarily need a central government to do that. Okay? And that's what he does in those first two sections. First section is called westernization, second section is called modernization. And now he moves on to the death of the old order. And here he's talking about changes, and he describes them as good changes. So modernization and westernization cause changes. A lot of people say, oh, this is terrible, this is destroying other cultures. He's saying, no, it's not really that terrible. What it's destroying is an old high culture. So in Japan, there was a high culture, lots of etiquette, lots of important ways of doing things, of having your tea and all of that. And that stuff goes away with westernization and modernization. Notice he doesn't think that that's a problem. He thinks that's actually a perfectly good thing. And it's a very nice democratic thing. It's the masses rising against a small elite. Okay? Very interesting argument, and you could make the opposite argument, that it actually is a very bad thing, the coming of McDonald's and so forth. Okay? Then the last section is called the mixed up future. I think it's the last section. Yep, last section begins on page 81, the mixed up future. And here he's saying, you know, the world's going to look really different, and he's talking about cultural differences, and he's saying it's going to be westernized, but it's also not going to be westernized in certain ways. It's definitely going to be modernized, but what modernization means may be somewhat different. So, for example, and this is my favorite example, on page 84, down about 2/3 of the way down, he talks about China and India, and he notes that they're not Protestants. They're not proselytizing powers. In other words, Christianity says you got to go out and spread the word. You got to go out and tell people how great it is, and help people become Christians, maybe even force them to become Christians in the old days. He's saying Confucianism doesn't tell us that. The cultures of India, the cultures of China don't tell them to do that. So what does that mean the world's going to look like? I don't think he knows. I don't think anybody knows. He's got this great question, rhetorical question on 85. He says, is the world Chinese? Is something Chinese, Western, Moorish, or modern? Probably all of the above. In other words, there's going to be this amalgam of culture. Okay. Page 86. He's now setting up the next couple of chapters. The first full paragraph there, it starts in the middle of the page. The question, will the future be modern or Western, is more complicated than it might seem. The only simple answer is yes. The only complex one is to look at specific countries. And now he's going to look at two specific countries, India and China. That's what he's going to do in the next few chapters. Chapter 4 will be the challenger. That's about China. Chapter 5 will be the ally. That's about India. So we'll come back next time for that. 4 minutes. Did it quick. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.